Hi guys, today's video is about adding and subtracting surds. So you should recall from your last lesson that surds are irrational numbers that are represented with a root sign. To be able to add or subtract surds, you need to have like surds. Now, like surds are surds with the same value underneath. So the square root of 2 is a surd, and for it to be a like surd, it must say the square root of 2 underneath. If we had 2 times the square root of 2, that is also a like surd because it still has the same value beneath the root sign. So if we have a look at an example of adding and subtracting like surds, the first thing that we want to do is check if our surds can be simplified. So we want to simplify surds first. If we can't, so in this case we have the square root of 21. So remember, when we were looking for simplifying surds, we wrote all of the multiples out. So the multiples of this are 1, 21, 3 and 7. Now none of these are square factors, so therefore this surd can't be simplified any further. Once we check to see if the surds can be simplified, we can collect like surds. So in this case, we're going to collect like surds by adding or subtracting. So we have the square root of 21, so there's a 1 sitting in front of here, minus 5, the square root of 21, plus 2, the square root of 21. So we're going to look at the values or coefficients in front of the surd, and they're the numbers that we're going to add or subtract. So we have the square root of 21 minus 5 square root of 21 plus 2 times the square root of 21. That's going to be equal to, so we've got 1 here, 1 minus 5. So 1 minus 5 is negative 4, the square root of 21 plus 2 square root of 21. Which is then going to be negative 4 plus 2, which is negative 2, the square root of 21. And that's our simplified expression. Okay, so let's have a go at a second example where we do need to simplify our surds. Okay, so if you remember back to the lesson on simplifying surds, we're going to write our multiples for our surds. So I've already manually checked which surds need simplifying, so I know the square root of 2 is the simplest it can be. It can't be simplified any further, and I know the square root of 8 can be, so that's what we're looking at. So we're looking for multiples of the square root of 8, so we have 8, 1, 2 and 4. And then we're going to find the square factors. So here the square factors are 4, which is the square factor, and the number that multiplies by that is 2. And we're going to use our rule x times y is equal to the square root of x times the square root of y to simplify here. So that's going to give us the square root of 2 times 4 plus 3 to the square root of 2. And that's going to equal the square root of 2 times the square root of 4 plus 3 to the square root of 2, which is going to equal, we can do the square root of 4, that's going to give us 2 times the square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 2. So now we can collect like surds by adding or subtracting. Okay, so now we're going to have equals, we have a 2 as a coefficient and a 3, so 2 plus 3, so that will be 5 times the square root of 2 is our final answer there. So therefore the square root of 8 plus 3 square root 2 is equal to 5 square root 2. And you could check that on your calculator to see if you got that approximately correct. Okay guys, that's how we add and subtract surds.